Welcome back to Sorry We're Booked. I'm Lainey,
I'm Jessica.
and today we are back.
We're back.
I'm so happy to be back.
We're happy to
Sorry
have you
about
back.
the short hiatus. Beth was awesome though.
Mm.
I don't know if you could have found a more perfect co-host to
Yeah.
talk about Onyx Storm.
Oh, she's amazing. She really knew her stuff, which was very helpful because had it not been for her, I think I would have remembered maybe one name of one island. I would have been calling Dane Dean the whole time. So I appreciate you, Beth. Love you dearly. And
You're the
just,
best.
her knowledge of lore is really helpful.
She's such a teacher.
She is. And she
The
was
way
amazing.
she describes it.
Yes.
I had to go back and listen to our own podcast after I finished Onyx Storm. It was way after they did. I was a little behind the 8 ball, but she explained it to me like I was 5 years old, and I'm like, thank you.
I needed that.
I needed that.
Yeah.
Because it was a confusing book.
It is.
Let's be honest.
I'd still say it's my inception of the Empyrean series. I'm like, I still don't know what happened. If you followed along and you were able to understand it, bravo, because I still don't know what happened, but I'm here for it. I'm still ready for book 4 and 5. Beth, I'm going to need your help on book 4 and 5 as well, because that was, it was different. It was different.
was.
Yeah. But we're glad to have you back.
Yes, happy to be back. Should I give my quick rating of
Let's
Onyx
do
Storm?
it. Let's do it. I want to hear yours.
I give it 4 out of 5. I did.
Mhm.
It was a bit hard to get into in the beginning just because I kind of had to reset my expectations of like, oh man, this is going to be a lot of world building and a lot of just expansion of the universe of, in book 1 it's just Basgiath, and then now it's like all of these countries. But once I reset it, I liked it a lot.
Yes.
Loved it.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy for you.
Yes.
I love that journey for you.
That's the nicest way to say
Yes,
I disagree.
I know. Well, it's because as I think about it more and more, my rating is just like continuously rolling slowly down a hill. And I'm like, what is happening here? Yeah. But I still love 1 and 2. Yeah. And so, I don't know. I'm a meh on, and that's okay. That's okay. That's
Absolutely.
why we do this is because different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely.
And that was one of them. So, oh gosh, needless to say. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, we're already in March. Cannot believe that. I don't know where this year is going so far. So we want to talk about, since Onyx Storm has been kind of the everything
main
that's
thing.
That's been in book talk world and been in the world. We want to talk about books we've been reading that haven't been Onyx Storm, whether they've been good or bad, just to kind of give an update on what this year has looked like so far. If there's some reads that you haven't heard of or read yet, we want to make sure we just touch on those. So what about you? What do you got for us?
Well, as of right now, I am very much behind my Goodreads goal. So I'll be honest, the year started off strong and it's been a slight downhill ever since, but now we're going to try to ramp it back up. But should I start with one that I have really enjoyed?
Yeah, of
let's
course.
start on a positive note. I think one of the last episodes we were going over the books that we were currently reading, and I was in the middle of Piranesi.
Yes.
I finished it. It was amazing. I have no words to even describe it.
Love it.
It is like going into a book on acid, not knowing anything, and it's all revealed to you at the end, and it just falls together beautifully. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's very short, incredibly short chapters. So at the time I was in a book slump, so I picked it up and I was like, it's short, fly through. You feel satisfied after you're done with a chapter because you feel like you read a lot. And it was awesome. Yeah, very, very good.
Is this one lit fic? Is that what you said this genre is, or is that this one?
Or
it's kind of
more
poetic,
magical realism.
Oh, okay.
It was. I think you're thinking of Shark Heart.
Oh,
maybe.
Yep.
Both weird books. Let's be honest.
The names are like Shark Heart. I'm like, oh, tell me more about this.
And the only reason I picked it up was because it was on Book Talk and people were raving about it, and everybody's been. And I'll be purposefully vague about what it's about because I don't want to give too much away. Everybody on Book Talk will say, I won't tell you anything about it, but just read it because it's really, really good.
Oh, awesome. And who's the author of that? Do you know?
Ooh, Suzanne something.
Okay. All right. We'll put it in here.
Yeah.
Boop, right there. There you go. Find it on Goodreads. Okay, perfect. That's awesome. So that's one that you read that you really loved. Was that a 5-star for you?
That was a 5-star.
That was a 5-star. All right. Okay, we'll go ahead. I'm going to start on a 5-star too. And you've mentioned it twice now, and this is actually going to be on an upcoming episode of like book slumps and what do we do when we get out of it. So I'm excited you touched on that because our next episode is going to be how to get out of a book slump because they are common and normal,
Yep.
and we all get them.
Yep.
Some for short periods of time, some for long time. So we got some really great ways to get out of that. Now, for me, okay, I'm gonna start off with I just finished this one, Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. Okay, so Miss Allie, this was one of my I called it my like last chance book because started off really strong with her with like love hypothesis,
Mhm.
love theoretically. She writes a lot of women in STEM. Fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic books. Then for a while there, I just felt like each book just kept,
Yeah.
coming down on the peg. She did get into some fantasy as well
Yeah.
with Bride.
Mhm.
And so which book 2 is coming out on that. They just released a
I saw
cover.
that.
Yeah, I think it's called Mate.
Mate.
Yeah. So that's book 2 and that was different.
Yeah.
It was okay. I liked it, but definitely vastly different
Yeah.
than her Love Hypothesis, Love Theoretically. We both talked about a book that we either did not finish or rated low, which was Not in Love.
Yep.
To me it was just vulgar. I don't
Yep.
know. Y'all know me by now. I'm here for the spice. I love it. That was just not
No
no plot.
plot.
I'm not about that. So with Deep End coming out, I was really nervous. And I think I even put it on our Instagram of like, this is it, Allie, last chance. I don't know if I can do it anymore. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing.
She redeemed herself.
She did. Look, okay. Let me
I gotta know.
let me just tell you. Okay. I mean, the synopsis is nice enough. It's like a competitive diver and an ace swimmer jump into forbidden waters in this steamy college romance. So I'm like, oh, okay, a diver, a swimmer. There check your trigger warnings. There
Yeah.
are oh gosh, some kinks. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be honest. It's one of the first books I've read like that. And but at the same time, I really loved it. It does talk a lot of like PTSD
Yeah.
in a relationship and in families. It talks about I don't know. I just loved everything about it. I will say what really I wrote my review was yes, Sally, yes. As always, mind your triggers, friends. This one will have you clutching your pearls and the fire alarm going off with dinner you forgot in the oven. I could not put it down. My ultimate favorite Allie Hazelwood yet.
Really?
I know. I don't know.
What?
I was reading. I was drinking
I
that
love
Kool-Aid.
that.
I know. I said I could not put it down. Yeah. I just think it's now. I just said it's not for everyone because
Yeah.
again, read it. You might not be interested in what she
Portrays.
portrays, and
Yeah.
that's okay. Like, but at the same time, I was telling you this. I have a new appreciation for swimming and diving apart from the romance. And I went on to a deep, literal dive of TikTok reels of like high divers, and because she's a high diver too, which is just
I could
so
never.
so outside of my realm of thinking. So it was fascinating. I liked it. All that to say, I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of steam in it. So if I come across like, oh, this sounds intellectual, I'm coming across poorly because it is definitely
A
steamy.
spicy
It is
romance.
spicy, but come on,
What's the
swimmers.
pepper, you think?
Oh gosh, out of a 5, I'd say a 4.5.
Yeah.
Well, to me, a 5 is like no plot, and this
Right.
had actually really,
Right.
really good plot for me. For me, again, I found this to be just a fun, quick,
Yeah.
spicy romance. Like
Yeah.
nothing in depth, something kind of like a palate cleanser, but like a steamy one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it was really
But
good.
she made a comeback.
She did, and I
Through the
will
Hail
read it.
Mary.
She did beautiful Hail Mary because I was like, I swear, if I DNF this, I'm done with you.
I was almost done with
I
her as
know,
well.
I know. I am nervous. I will say this. I don't know if I'm gonna like Mate
Yeah.
because again, that's going to a completely different genre of her. Going into fantasy. I didn't love Bride. I mean, it was
I
neutral.
couldn't get into Bride.
It's different. It's
Yeah.
different. And so Allie did start off as a fan fiction writer,
Yeah.
so it makes sense that she got into the fantasy foray. But I don't know if I'm gonna love Mate. So I don't know if I want to. After coming off of this, I don't know if I'll read Mate because I want to stay on this high
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
hope for another one. So
Yeah.
that was
She's
my good one.
pumping them out though.
She
What is
does.
this, like 3 books a year now?
Yeah, she's got
Practically?
to. Yeah.
2 or 3
Yeah.
at least?
Yeah, she's got to because because she also does a lot of like novellas, like little
Yes.
quick little ones.
Little
And so,
things.
anyways, well done, Allie. I
Yeah.
just said that. Well done, my friend.
I'm about 75% of the way through Deep End, so I don't want to give my official rating or anything like that, but I'm enjoying it as well, for sure.
Yeah,
I-
but
I
probably
love-
not going to be.
I love the diving
Yes,
aspect. Yeah.
I would be shocked if this beat Love Hypothesis
That's
for
like
you. Yeah, I don't
ultimate
know.
for me.
Yeah,
But is it giving it away?
what?
Olive from
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Love
yeah.
Hypothesis gets a shout
I
out.
love it. I
I
love it.
loved
Well,
that.
and so does Adam.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I will say I love that about Allie Hazelwood is all of her characters like kind of make a little side
Yeah.
quest entrance. And so yeah, they
A little
included the
pop
love.
in.
They did, and
I
it
know.
worked really
I
well.
know.
So I love
It was
that.
tastefully done.
Yes, well done.
Love that 5-star for you.
Yeah, so did
That's a
I.
good You crack me
I
up.
know, I know.
Should I go along with
Let's
the
go.
romance theme?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I read or I should say I listened to The Right Move. It is a basketball romance.
Oh.
It's part of the Wendy gosh, I'm blanking on the name, but Mile High
Oh, yes,
Club.
yes, yes.
It's part of that series.
Yeah.
I was recommended that you didn't have to read Mile High Club first.
Okay.
You could just go
It's a
straight
standalone.
into The Right Move. I totally had low expectations going into it. I thought it was just going to be a fluffy sports romance,
Yeah.
you know, little spice here and there. Blown away by the depth within it.
Really?
Very well done. Loved the male main character, loved the female main character. That's very odd for me.
Look
Like
at that.
it's hard for me to I just feel like they're all written the same,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
get it.
Oh, poor me. I'm small and I'm little and I'm
just a baby.
I'm just a baby
Yep.
and I just need a big strong man to come save me. I just can't
Wrong.
do that. She was awesome. And it was just overall very well done. Loved the voices for the audiobooks. It was a male and a female. The male was great.
Mm.
And highly recommend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very, very
The
surprised.
Right Move.
The Right Move.
I'm gonna have to get that one because I
Yeah.
do not have that
very
even on
good.
my TBR list.
4 out of 5 for me.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see.
And it had a good wholesome ending, which I love.
Oh,
You know?
okay. And so, but it is for you. It was able to be a standalone. Like you did not have to
No.
end up reading all those.
They have the same characters because they're all friends. So the best friends of the first book are in the second book, but you don't need to know anything about them.
Would it ruin it? Like if I guess you
think
would
so.
kind of know how the first one ends.
Yeah, I mean,
Because they're. I would
together.
assume. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like anything. That's like any of those not
Yeah.
Allie Hazelwood, Abby Jimenez books. They all
Yes.
kind of like,
Yeah.
they're their own, but they all kind of have
Yeah.
someone in between. Ooh, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
add it.
Okay, I will.
Get it, girl.
Let's see. Ooh, for me, okay, I mean, I have a lot of fan fiction sprinkled in, so I'm trying to find real books. I did read, so this one kind of was end of December, but I finished it in January, so I still consider it this year. It was called Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. Tessa. Well, no, ma'am. No. No.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, I did give it 2.5 stars. I mean,
Oof.
that's better than it deserves. Because here's the thing, okay? It's like the premise is it's this famous, I think of like, oh gosh, Stevie Nicks.
Yep.
Yeah, I think of like a duo singer rock band.
Daisy Jones.
Like Daisy Jones.
Yep.
Okay, it's like two female singers that broke up after years together. They both had children, one boy, one girl, and you know, at this point they're in their, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, and they're trying to get a reunion together for the parents. And so you got the daughter of one musician and the son of the other musician. Of course, there's this like they've seen each other once in 16 years and she's held a torch for him ever since. She saw him once in the course of 14 years for a minute.
Oh my gosh.
And held a torch for him. I think that's weird. Like,
what
Move on.
are you doing?
Move on.
Yeah.
You were 14 or 16. You saw him walk by. He said like, hi, gave you a hug. And she's like, "Oh, love of my life
Yeah.
forever." No.
We're gonna get married.
Gross. Second thing, because they're rock parents, they named their children. The daughter's name is Melody. Oh, that's sweet. That's beautiful. The son's name is Beat. Frickin' Beat. Why?
Don't hold back.
The anger I had every time I'm reading beat this and beat that. I'm like, you couldn't think of anything else. I mean, anything else would have been better than I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what would have been better. Like
Something.
like Hendrix. Ooh,
Ooh.
better. I mean,
Yes.
yes.
I
Like,
could get on board with that.
right. But beat,
Yeah.
I just think of like beetroot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was terrible. But I still gave it 2.5 stars. It's not a Christmas story at all. And that bothered me. So that
Yeah.
also knocked it down a star. Honestly, I don't know why I gave it 2.5 stars now that I'm reading my review, but whatever. So don't read it. I mean, you can if you can get over beat, but it was not a good holiday read for me.
I DNF'd that book. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Which just sucks because I like Tessa Bailey.
Yeah.
But This was just one that I feel like she just pumped out, and I'm like, there could have been more forethought into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So don't name your character Beat, and you'd be good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
that was it for
names
me.
make it or break it.
They really
I hate to
do.
say it,
They
but
do. Like
yeah.
if I mean that it was just weird for me. It kind of was like it's also not a name that rolls off. So when you're in the
Right.
middle of a sentence, you just feel like a sharp like pause each time.
Yeah.
Like and then Beat walked in, and I'm like, ugh. Like it
Yeah.
just ugh. I don't know. I didn't like it.
2.5 stars. I feel like that's
Oh, that
generous.
was generous. I was being nice.
You're in the
Call it the
holiday
Christmas
spirit.
spirit. You get a star. You get a
You get a
star,
star.
but not you.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that was that for me.
On the same wavelength
Mhm,
of kind of like over a long period of time
mhm.
romances, I did One Day in December
Oh,
by
yeah.
Josie Silver.
Yeah.
I ended up loving it. it
Yeah.
it was one of those that I started in December, finished in January as
Mhm,
well, so
mhm.
I'm gonna count it.
Yep.
But I gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
Nice.
I loved that it was over a period of ten years, I think.
Yeah.
If anybody, or if you've read the book One Day, it's a
Yes.
series on Netflix.
Yes.
Very
Oh,
similar to that.
so good.
So good.
So
That one
good.
will rip your heart out. This one ends a
Yes.
lot better, I
Yeah.
promise you. But very similar to where they're friends. They still, like every single year they have a reason to like meet up, or they just
Mhm,
keep running into each other. It's fate. They keep getting pulled. They might be in different relationships, or
mhm.
I think at one point the girl's about to get married, sort of stuff like that. But she always has this connection with this guy, and then in the end, it just wraps up beautifully, and I really enjoyed it. I really did.
That's
I
awesome.
wish the only reason it wasn't a 5 star for me was I wish there was more. I think it was only like barely half a chapter at the end where they actually got together.
Oh,
So
okay.
I wish there would have been more like, of
Yes.
their lives together, them being happy, that sort of
Yes.
thing. So
I need to reread that. I think I read that one 3 years ago or 2 years ago,
yeah,
and it was really good,
it was
but
so
then
sweet.
I saw the show one day, I know exactly what you mean, and
Yep.
I like the premise of, like, coming back to a time
Hmm.
over and over and over again over the years. I just think that's a really fun
Yeah.
premise. Um,
And that was given to me by Corey. So shout out
oh,
to
shout out
Corey.
Corey, Book Club Corey.
Yep.
Shout
If
out.
you're listening, thanks, girl.
Awesome. Let's see. I think January was also the month that I mentioned this on one of our previous episodes. I got into the inheritance games. So
Yes.
that started in January for me. I've read 2 out of the 3 books. The third one just came available on my Libby account. Still undecided if I want to read it. I'll give it a chance, but the first one is called The Inheritance Games. This is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So I read both one and then the second one, which is the Hawthorne Legacy. For me, these were still like middle of the road, three and a half, four. They're young adult. They're a
Yeah.
Knives Out who done it. Love the premise, where she inherits billions of dollars, from a guy she's never met before. Only she has to stay in the mansion with all of the siblings that also want the money. There is a little love triangle. Love the love triangle. But the reason that I'm having a really hard time is I just don't love who she ended up with. I wanted,
Oh,
yeah, because as you'll know, there's two brothers. She ends up with one. I wanted the other,
yeah.
and then I feel like they just tarnished his whole character at the very end of the second book. That I'm like, that was so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like she could have chosen either brother and been fine.
Yeah.
She chose this one. I didn't agree with it. The one that she didn't choose, I feel like the author had to kind of make him unlikable last minute. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I still like him. So that bummed me out. But the story was really good. Like it had some little puzzles and things like that. So if you're interested in that, it's not super high on the romance side of things either. So I know with a lot of the romantasy we talk about in rom coms, like sometimes you're like, I just want something fun that's not all about the
Yeah.
romance. This is one of those where it
That's
really
great.
focuses, yeah,
Yeah.
on the puzzles
That's
component.
awesome.
But me loving romance, I'm mad at who she picked in the
Yeah.
end. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna read this third one. Um, so yeah, those are kind of what I did in January. I have some that I'm reading currently 3 books right now that
Yeah.
I would add to this list. But any other ones that you read at the beginning of this year?
Yeah, one that I could not get into and really ended up not liking, it was called The Push
Oh
by
yes, yeah.
let's see, Ashley Audrain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it was one of those books that maybe if I was in a different period of life, I would have liked a lot more. I was
Heavy.
recommended by a friend from our book club
Yeah.
because they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is like a psychological thriller.
Mm-hmm.
It's about family dynamics." I didn't really do my due diligence of following up on
Mm,
triggers. The whole premise of it is about a mom who, while she's pregnant, has all this anxiety about being a mom. She has mother issues in the past, doesn't know if she's gonna be a good one or a bad one. and then her daughter gets born, and she has this feeling that her daughter's gonna grow up to be a serial killer, or like it's nuts. And so
Mhm.
it's a lot of postpartum depression, all this
Mhm.
kind of stuff. While I'm pregnant, this is not the book to read, and so I'm listening to this thinking, like, because the person who recommended it to me was like, "Oh my gosh, the twist at the end is just gonna, like,
Oh.
blow your mind," and so I just kept pushing through just to be like, "Man, this twist better be great. This twist better be great." It did have a twist at the end.
Yeah.
It was a horrible twist, and
Yeah.
at the end of it, I just sat there and I was like, "Why did I put myself through that?" I
Yeah.
think I would have enjoyed it prenatal. I would have enjoyed it maybe if I was in a better place once baby's born. Do not read this. And I think you're given the same recommendation by
Yeah.
your mom. You
Yeah.
told me, do not read this if you are just not emotionally there.
Yes.
That is my warning to you.
Yes.
But if you're like, heck, I don't care,
Yeah.
then go for it. You might
Yeah.
like it.
I've heard the same thing of, like, definitely mind your trigger, but it's really good, but it's psychological. I had the same thing with Verity. I mean, I
Yeah.
read Verity after
I remember.
postpartum depression, and I'm like, "Ooh, I should not have read that then," but I still think it's the most
Yeah.
amazing book.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes and I've noticed that some books hit you differently in different seasons, just
Yep.
like movies do, just like anything does. And this is one of those of, like, be careful the
I
season
know.
you're in.
And I can't even get mad at the book because it was well written
Right.
and it was well done. I just I didn't do my homework and know what it was going to be
Yeah,
about.
I get
So
that.
that's on me.
I get
That's on
that.
me.
Let's see. I get that. Well, right, kind of going on the other side right now. I am currently I'm almost done with it's called Beg, Borrow, or Steal. It's by Sarah Adams, which I've read a lot of her books. It's a cute little rom-com of I mean, it's of course enemies to lovers. Where what isn't nowadays?
Is this a
The
teacher one?
teachers,
Okay.
they're both second grade teachers, move in next door to each other. They're
Oh.
constantly like they've known each other for years through college. It always seems like they're competing over something like, oh, the last who got the student teaching assignment at this school, they both go for it and one gets it.
Yeah.
And then the other one's like, oh, who's going for this grant? And they both go for it and the other gets it. And so it's just this constant like, it's a cute, fluffy, I don't know,
Yeah.
just what do we call palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I took it on vacation with me. It's just a fun read that I feel like I can pick up at any point, and I don't need sometimes I just need a book that doesn't require any in-depth thinking.
Yep.
Like my brain hurts.
Yep.
I want
You
someone to
can just
just tell
turn
me a
off.
story. Yeah. And so like sometimes like I don't have it in fantasy right now to keep up with all the names
Yep.
and the concepts. So this is like this is easy. I can do this. This is a Hallmark book. I like it. And I've enjoy Sarah
That's
Adams.
awesome.
So I'm almost done. Really liking it so far. By no means is it a 5-star for me. Like it's not like the best book I've ever read. Um, it's hard though, because I'm like, oh, I'd probably give it a 3.5. And
Yeah.
not because it's not good or anything. It's just not,
Yeah.
I don't know, something
Anything
I'd recommend.
extraordinary.
Yeah, it's just a filler.
Yeah.
So it's a fun filler though. It's cute, but I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I like it
Sarah
enough.
Adams is usually pretty clean, if I
Yes.
remember
Oh yeah, yeah,
correctly.
yes.
Yeah. She's like closed door for the
Yes.
most part.
Yeah, I'm not getting any sense of
Yeah.
spice yet. If there is, it's yeah, like, oh yeah, because she did Practice Makes
I
Perfect,
loved
When
that
in
one.
Rome. I loved Practice Makes
Yeah.
Perfect. When in Rome. And is this part of the When in Rome series? I don't know. Oh, it is. I don't know
No
how.
way.
Oh, yes, because they're all siblings. That's right. That's
Oh.
right. So this is part of a series that you don't have to know the other books to read it. But yeah, no, sure enough, because Practice Makes Perfect
That's awesome.
couple is already in this book. I forgot. So yeah, very clean, very fun, just cute rom-com.
Very nice.
Little Hallmark.
Love that.
Yep.
Similar with that thought, I just re-listened to The Hunger Games
Oh,
in
you
preparation
did?
in preparation for Hamish's story coming out in like 2 weeks, which is
Woo!
nuts. Um, and that was a wonderful filler book as
That's
well.
good.
Like obviously read it like a decade ago, which is
Mhm.
nuts to think about, and then watched the movies consistently since. But
Mhm.
yeah, YA that still lives up to it. I mean,
So
that
good.
story is just unmatched.
Yes.
I feel like out of all the dystopian books out there, that one
Mhm.
is the most well done in my opinion. And I
Mhm.
kind of forgot um how dark the book was compared to the
Yes.
movie. Like the
Yes.
movie was very PG in light
Well,
of
because
the
there
book.
was some concepts that they couldn't come across in the movies. Like if I'm remembering correctly, at the end when they're on top of the
Yep.
what is that called? The
Cornucopia.
cornucopia, like when the dogs are attacking
Yep.
them, the dogs' eyes are of the victims,
Yes.
and but that you can't have that come across in the
Yes.
movies.
Right.
But there's a very human aspect of like, oh my gosh, I'm looking into
Rue's
Rue's
eyes.
eyes, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my, like it's
Yes.
very dark young A. I remember that, but man,
It's so well
I
done.
felt like it was so. I feel like it's hard nowadays to come across a book that you're like, this is so unique. But
Yeah.
at the time, I feel like that was very unique because it was
Absolutely.
also children. Like
Yep.
people were like, oh,
12.
they're like, oh, these are children that are having to
Yeah.
fight one another, which was so unheard of,
Yeah.
and it was good.
I
Oh
loved it.
man, oh, I'm gonna
I'm
have to reread it.
anti-government, so I was all about it. I was like,
Yeah.
down with the
Yes,
Capitol.
yes. I know. I haven't read the prequel, but would you still recommend reading the prequel before those, or does it
The,
matter?
Songbird and Snakes, I
Yeah.
have never read that
Oh,
one.
okay. You
I'll be
watched the movie, right?
I watched the movie, I'll be completely honest, I wasn't too enthralled with the story, and
Yeah.
so just when
Okay.
it came out last year, I have it. I
Yeah.
literally have it, and I
Really?
haven't read it,
I'll have to
so
try it. I wonder if they'll make Haymitch's
I
a
know.
movie
I
too.
know.
That'd be
I'm
so
hoping.
good.
I really
Oh.
am. I really am because I love Haymitch.
Yeah.
He's probably one of my favorite
Oh
characters,
yeah.
and it was fun to they gave a lot of background in the first Hunger Games about Haymitch, and so
Oh,
I thought that was like valuable knowledge going into the book that's about to come out.
that's amazing.
So,
I'm so
yep.
excited.
And the
Okay.
audiobook was great. Very well done.
Awesome.
4 out of 5.
Love it.
Yep.
Let's see. One oh gosh. Okay, this book. I'm almost done with it too. Cursed Fates. It is the fifth book in the Zodiac
Oh
Academy.
my gosh.
For the love of all that is
You've
good in this
made it
world.
5
There's
books.
9. I genuinely,
You're over
people.
halfway there.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
You
I
got to
don't know
finish.
why I'm reading the series. I have an old coworker that is reading all of them as well, and I'm like, "But why am I reading this?" He's like, "I don't know. You just can't put it down. It's terrible. Like, I don't recommend this to anyone." And I think I've brought it up on like 4 episodes now because my brain can't compute why I'm still reading it, but I have this like incessant need to finish it.
Yeah.
Um, the only reason I don't love it is there's just way too much going on. And I know I said that with Onyx Storm. This is like 100-fold.
Oh,
There
really?
is, different you're in different kind of schools. You can or different you have different powers. You can either be, fire, the elements,
Yeah.
fire, earth, water, and air. Okay. Like, okay, you're,
Yeah.
airbender, whatever. You got those four, but then within those, you get your order form, which you know how many order forms there are? There's Pegasus, unicorns, dragons, vampires,
Gosh.
wolves. I mean, oh my gosh, a
How do you
mermaids.
keep it straight?
You don't, and yet, and then there's like fated mates, like every other series. You can be a mate, but you can also be a cursed. I don't know. There's so star-crossed. There you go. There's star-crossed, and then there's dark magic, and then I'm like, why? And then, and then there's like, oh, I just don't even know sightseers. And then there's this game that's kind of like Quidditch, but not Quidditch because it's
It's not Harry Potter. Yeah.
no, this isn't good. There's magic. I don't know, y'all. It is.
I'm so interested to see if you
It's.
finish it all.
I probably will, and I probably will hate every step of the
It's like a
way.
train wreck you can't look
I
away from.
cannot stop, and I don't know what it is. Like because also the writing is horrible. I'm sorry. Who are you, Caroline Peckham? I'm sorry if you saw our podcast. I don't like harshing anyone's mellow, and especially like, look, you wrote 9 books. Good for you, man. That's amazing. I've written 0. They're terrible though, and I'm sorry, but like I don't like them. So if anyone has ever read this and given it 5 stars, I would love to have coffee with you and just understand why.
Why?
I'm not
They're
looking.
out there though. I see them on
I
Book
know.
Talk all the
Oh,
time.
people
Yeah.
love this series. I'm like, I'm not one of them, but I will finish it. It's gonna take me forever because these are also like 30-hour long audios. I also viscerally hate the male character's voice on the audio.
Oh gosh.
Visceral. Like I have a visceral reaction
You're
when I
just
hear 'em.
torturing
I
yourself at
am.
this
I just
point.
don't know why.
You're rage reading. That's what it
And I
is.
think it's a husband and wife that read the series.
Oh.
And so he does all the voices and he does like a gruff voice and an
Oh
angry voice. And you're like,
no.
oh, I don't like
It's
it.
like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah. And so it's tough. So I'm gonna keep mentioning it because there's 9 of these dang books and I'm probably gonna read them all. I would say out of the 5, 3 and 4 have been the best so far.
Okay.
Which was 3.5 to 4 stars, which is a high rating for a book I don't like. It's like
Yeah.
a rage read. But those have been good. So this one was starting to get good, and then I ran out of time at my library,
Oh
so I'm waiting to get it
no.
back. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, Caroline Peckham, Cursed Fates, book 5 of the Zodiac Academy, of which there are 9. I'm at the halfway point. I'm over halfway.
Godspeed.
Yeah.
That's all I have
What?
to say.
Yeah.
You're braver than I am.
You know what? I'm doing this for y'all, dear readers. Dear readers, I will read it so you don't have to. Maybe it gets better. I doubt it, but maybe.
I told Jessica that one of our podcast episodes should be like us reading a book that is out of our genre, out of our
Yes.
comfort zone. You
Yes.
could just do the Zodiac
I
Academy,
could.
a whole episode on it.
I feel like this Caroline, I feel like she was excited and wanted everything in it.
Mhm.
Like,
Just
oh,
overzealous.
yes. And
Just
then I'm like,
wanted
let me
all the
throw it all.
yeah.
Like, there's nymphs and there's fae and then there's high fae. I'm like, pick a lane and stay in
Stay in
it.
it.
Like, I feel the same way with every genre now that kind of like, if you want to do vampires, great, do vampires. If you
Yep.
want to do werewolves, great, do werewolves. Do you need to do 16 order forms?
Right.
And no,
Yeah.
like,
Just too
keep
much.
it simple, y'all. Those are some of the best books for me,
Yeah.
or if it is, put them in the background.
Yep.
Like Harry Potter.
Yep.
Just put them in the background.
They're there,
There's
but they're
there's a
not that
griffin in the
important. Yeah.
background. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Or a hippogriff just flying around. There you go.
You
Okay.
got your Onyx Stormbright
I
on.
did. Too much. Okay. Yes. So that's what I got.
Oh man.
I know. It's been a year so far for me.
Because you started when with those books?
Oh my gosh, too long ago.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
6 months ago?
Yeah, they're just why? I don't
It's
know.
gonna be 6 months later and you're gonna be done. But then it's gonna be it's gonna be the best thing you've ever read.
I
at the
started
end.
this in September. It's been a journey. I started with a 2.5 star.
And you just kept going.
I don't know. It's really hard
You're
for me to
hilarious.
stop reading a series, I'll be honest, which is
Yeah.
why if I knew I would have hated it getting into it, I don't think I would have ever
Yeah.
started. That's part of the reason I haven't really like gone through Throne of Glass,
Yeah.
because I read the first one, I was like, I don't love it.
Yep.
Do I really want to commit to 9 books right
Right.
now? I'll do it another time,
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
feel
in
you.
it.
I feel you.
I'm in
You're
this
in
one.
the depths. I got
Deep.
one last more.
Let's hear it.
One more. It is Be Ready When the Luck Happens, and it's a memoir
Aw.
by Ina Garten.
Oh,
I
yes.
know,
Okay.
it's so good.
Is
I
it?
waited forever for this to come onto my Libby because I wanted the audiobook because she reads it.
Yeah.
And I always had this like picture of Ina Garten. I don't know if you grew up watching her
Not
on
too
Food
much.
Net-
I mean, I see her now.
My parents were obsessed with her. Like she
Really?
was always on the TV, always making these beautiful meals. She's from New England, and she always just had that Nancy Myers old money
Yeah.
look to her.
Yeah.
And so going into this book, I was excited to find out how she got into Food Network and food in general,
Mhm.
but I definitely had like this preconceived notion that
Mm.
she was like born into money
Mm.
and just like was handed everything to her and just, basically had a very easy life that transitioned into fame.
Right.
That could not have been farther from the truth, which made it to be the most interesting
Oh,
life story to hear about.
I love that.
She literally she almost I think she took forever to graduate college. Just didn't have any desire to graduate, no motive,
Mm.
didn't like what she was doing. She worked in government in DC for a while.
Really?
She got married to her husband now. They've been married forever, but Jeffrey,
Mm.
and they were so poor that they lived in a tent.
Oh
Like
my
like
gosh.
they had nothing, and he was in the military, and she was having to go to Vietnam and China and Japan and travel over the world with him while he's stationed.
Wow.
Craziest story. And then she just happens to love cooking along the way and then falls into this just stroke of luck. And that's the message of the book, Be Ready When the Luck Happens. It was a
Oh.
message of working hard and trusting your gut. And then when, hey, something really cool happens,
Mhm.
jump on it and just
Mm.
get ready for the adventure. So
I love it. That's a
um,
great
it was
saying.
so wholesome. So
Yeah.
wholesome. At the end, it got a little foo-foo for me because it was a
Mm.
lot of celebrity name dropping. It was a lot of, oh, I eat with so-and-so every
Yeah.
single week and
Yeah.
this and that. And I'm like, good for you,
I'm
sis.
like, you
You
made
worked
it. We
hard.
get it.
Yeah.
You made it.
She's part of the story. I was cracking up because I'm like, we just live such different lives. But her whole quest and like trial in her late 60s was how she was going to renovate her Parisian apartment. And I'm like, man, if that's the worst thing that's happening to you is that you
Yeah.
just don't know how to, decorate your apartment in
Yeah.
Paris, I don't know what to tell you.
But
So.
that's amazing though that
Oh,
she
she
came
had the
from.
coolest story. Yeah.
I would
She
have
had a
never
lot of family
suspected that.
trauma, a
Yeah.
lot of parental issues. She got into that a little bit, and
Yeah.
then wonderful marriage story with Jeffrey and
Yeah.
just a lot of loyalty. So
Wow. Be
highly
ready when the
recommend.
luck happens.
Be ready when the luck happens.
I think that's such a beautiful
Isn't that
say. I've
awesome?
never heard that. I think
Yeah.
that's such a beautiful saying of
Isn't
like
that
be
awesome?
ready. Yeah, because you hear that from like everyone nowadays, or these great stories of how did that happen? Oh, they just were so lucky. It's like
Yep.
maybe they were just ready
Yep.
when the luck happened. I love that concept.
Yep.
I'm gonna adapt that concept.
It was awesome.
If luck, you're out there, come my way. I'm ready. I'm so ready for it. Okay, Right? So we're off to a good year start so far. We've
Yeah.
had some ups and downs. I know throughout the year we'll probably do some like kind of like our what is it called? The little list, the bucket, not bucket
Yes.
list, the
The, hierarchy or,
yes.
oh gosh, the
I
March
know.
Madness.
Yes, the March Madness. I'm thinking of like, what is it? Fantasy football.
Yeah.
We'll have that of like the best books of the year, fighting it out. But there was a lot, that we had talked about the very beginning of the year that have been releasing,
Mhm.
and a lot of them were releasing from February to April. And I'm noticing they're all coming out. I'm like, whoa, where did this
Yep.
come from? So I have a lot of books coming up
I'm so excited.
that I'm really excited about. And so I'm hoping that the next time we do kind of this recap, we're gonna have a lot of
I
winners.
know, I know.
You're probably gonna hear another Zodiac Academy in there. Lots of fan fiction
Yeah.
still because I can't stop, won't
Yeah.
stop. Um, and yeah, some other good stuff.
That's
So
awesome.
join us for our next episode. We'll definitely talk a little bit more of how to get out of a reading slump because I know we've both had them
This
often.
year.
Yeah, this year, seriously. And so as always, thank you for
Thank
listening
you
to
so
us.
much.
Yep. Don't forget to like, subscribe, send to your friends, comment, anything and
Yep.
everything. We're getting up there in viewers, and
Yay.
we'll have some
We're
fun giveaways
worldwide, so if you're
worldwide.
listening to this and you're not in America,
Yeah.
we know and we see you, and we're kinda geeking out about
Yeah,
it.
that Australian who's watching us. I mean, Chris Hemsworth, goodness gracious, just waiting for our episode to drop. I appreciate you.
You're so obsessed with
Yeah,
us.
stop it. Awesome. But yes, thank you as
See you
always.
next time.
Bye.